So namaskar, hola, and wish you all once again, ladies and gentlemen, a very pleasant good morning. On behalf of the organizers, one of the most credible voices of the real estate sector in India, the Confederation of the Real Estate Developers Association of India, that's CREDAI. Ladies and gentlemen, I take this great privilege and the honor of extending a warm welcome to all our esteemed guests present with us, all the delegates who have traveled from different parts of the world and country. Welcome to all of you to the 12th NATCON Summit 2012. And also in this very exciting and beautiful place called Barcelona, which actually stands as a temple for the innovators, creators, architects, developers, as there's so much to learn, ladies and gentlemen, from this city, the land of Gaudi as it is called, which thrives on art and architecture. And as we are going to be talking about and getting inspired from great structures, I would also like to draw your attention to this great iconic metropolitan place where we are, W Barcelona, which stands on 7 hectares of land proclaimed from the sea. And it seems as if it is all ready to embrace you from the sea. You know, this reminds me of a very powerful statement made by Winston Churchill, who had once said that we shape our buildings and these buildings shape us. A very powerful statement which defines the effect and the power which these great structures have on our thoughts, on our expressions, on our efforts, and also on our economy. So we are sure this great structures and this great city is going to be inspiring you, as we are going to be talking about thinking big and thinking different, which is the theme of this conference. Now this might actually look like a success mantra, but if you see, this is a Ramban, for it strikes at the right place, oozing out your creative juices, driving in your innovation, stirring in your passion, constantly challenging you more to go out for the better and reach out for the extraordinary. And probably, ladies and gentlemen, that is what is required for a growing economy like India, which is slated to be the 3rd largest construction market by 2020. A market size of $180 billion US, 70% of the GDP is going to be coming from these sprawling cities. So huge opportunity innovating in the Indian market, and this conference, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be preparing us for the great boom, aspiring us the new wave of ambition, leadership, entrepreneurship, which is not only going to be helping our businesses to grow, but also our nation to achieve and reach greater heights. And helping in all this exercise, we have great minds, some of the experts joining us from the United States, we have from Europe, we have from Australia, and from the rest of the world. And in fact, it has been India's growing integration with the global economy which has brought us to this great metropolitan region called Barcelona. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, it stands definitely a great honor and a pleasure that we have been joined by Director General of Industry Government of Catalonia, joining us as the guest of honor, ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Mr. Joan Soreda I. Martinez. Very warm welcome to you, sir, and a pleasure having you. And ladies and gentlemen, please join me as I welcome him and I request him now to grace the dais. So request you to kindly grace the dais. Join me here on the dais. A pleasure having you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, he's been someone who has been doing a lot of work towards the development of Catalonia, and it's going to be a great experience having him here. And further, ladies and gentlemen, as we look forward to building great ties between the two countries, that is India and Spain, it's also our honor and pleasure to be joined by our Honorable Minister of Labour and Rehabilitation from the beautiful state of Kerala, India. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Shibu Baby John joining us. Pleasure having you, sir, here. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, he has been an industrialist. He has been very proactive towards the initiatives which have been taken by CREDAI. And thank you, sir, for joining us here. Further, ladies and gentlemen, please join me as I now invite Mr. Willy Mueller, the CEO of Barcelona Regional. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite the key eminent personalities of CREDAI who have been basically the backbone and the leaders of CREDAI. Leading it, the chairman of CREDAI, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Pradeep Jain, who is also the chairman of Parasnath Limited. And now, someone who's been leading from the front, ladies and gentlemen, the president of CREDAI, Mr. Lalit Kumar Jain, the chairman and managing director of Kumar Urban Development Limited. And ladies and gentlemen, I now take the pleasure of inviting now the further pillars of strength for CREDAI, Mr. C. Shekhar Reddy, Vice President, CREDAI, and also the Managing Director of CSR Estates Limited. And our very dynamic Mr. Gitambar Anand, Vice President, CREDAI, and Chairman and Managing Director of ATS Infrastructure Limited. And let me now invite the young and progressive Vice President of CREDAI, Mr. Dharmesh Jain, who is also the Chairman and Managing Director of Nirmal Lifestyle Limited. Further inviting the young and savvy Mr. Jakshay Shah, Vice President CREDAI, Managing Director Savi Infrastructure Limited, and the Chairman, NATCON Committee. Now inviting the administrative genius of CREDAI, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chitti Babu, Honorary Secretary CREDAI, and Chairman and CEO of Akshaya Private Limited. And now we have the finance person of CREDAI, ladies and gentlemen, the Honorary Treasurer, Mr. Shekhar G. Patel, who's also the Managing Director of Ganesh Housing Corporation Limited. And last but not the least, a person who has been at the helm of all the affairs of the 12th NATCON Summit, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nandakumar, member NATCON Organizing Committee and Managing Director of Devi Narayan Housing and Property Private Limited. And ladies and gentlemen, before we set forth with our discussions and deliberations, let us pay homage to our great nation towards whom we all committed. We have now the national anthem. Would like to request you all to kindly stand at your positions as a mark of respect to it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Your collective voices ensure the love and respect which we have for our nation. Further, ladies and gentlemen, as you're all aware, CREDAI, since its inception in the year 1999, has been playing a very pronounced role towards the growth of the Indian economy and towards the growth of the real estate sector. And at the helm of all these affairs is its chairman, Mr. Pradeep Jain, a very dedicated, committed person with a new age approach who has been taking a lot of initiative and programs towards graduating this real estate sector from the unorganized state to the organized sector. Mr. Pradeep Jain is also the founder and chairman of Arasnath Developers Limited, a very well-renowned developer in India. They have the massive footprints in infrastructure, hospitality, and also in entertainment, which makes them not only the leaders in the real estate sector, but also as the leading infrastructure developers. So I would now like to take the pleasure and privilege of requesting and inviting Mr. Pradeep Jain for his opening remarks and for his welcome address.